To find one's place in this world, to understand the purpose of life, one has to travel around, one has to explore, one has to live with this world. And that's what Kalyan AkkiPeddi did. Soon after he joined in a corporate company and worked for a while there, he realized that he's only making already rich companies more richer by giving his skills uh, to the company. Instead, he wanted to find a higher purpose in his life. He set out on a path to travel all across India, and he put himself few conditions that he wouldn't want to spend a lot of money on travel and stay and food. So one of the conditions is he wanted to actually stay in people's homes as a guest, and he would help those people while he's there. And he would travel with bare minimum expenses all through the India. So as soon as he set out on a journey, he realized that it is villages and villagers who have a large heart to accept an unknown person into their homes and feed anybody who is seeking a small help. So he traveled all across India from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, Gujarat to West Bengal, in Sundarbans in West Bengal, all across. And he stayed with lot of tribal people, villagers, and wherever he went, he is able to find welcoming families, and he would basically assist them when he was there, share his experiences, make friends, and then learn from them. Most importantly, learn from them how they actually end up being kind and self-sustaining their lives. And in this process, he saw the real heart of India lies in villages, and he saw that, like Gandhiji always used to say, Gram Swarajya, villages, at least those villages that are untouched by the modernity, they remained pretty much self-sustained. As we can evidently see, tribal people, they don't much depend on the city dwellers. They actually are quite capable of managing themselves. And he, being a very inquisitive and scientific person, he tried to understand their lives and realized that they stay closer to the nature, and they are capable of actually utilizing the resources that are at their disposal and make a living around nature. And they mostly not live in isolation, but they live as communities. And these are his main findings. He didn't know what to do with this knowledge, and he came back after I think a few years of this wandering. So he lived in a village. He tried to spend time in each family's home for a few days and see uh, what is going for them and what is not working with them, and so on. And what he realized is most of the people, after finding agriculture to be extremely painful, they started leaving to cities to settle as laborers, because owning a land, uh, doing agriculture, selling it, making profits is not any profitable idea anymore. And settling as a laborer is giving them slightly better life, at least a guaranteed income, and they can actually send their children to school and stuff like that. And that's when he thought, hey, something is not right how our villages are evolving. Something needs to be done. And all his lessons that he learned in his journeys, that, a good community life, which is bound to nature, is the foundation of a sustainable, happy life. And that's when, with the help of his family, he purchased a land, 11-acre land, with a goal to create a model village in that place. It's not a place where he owns that land, but he would want to invite anybody who wants to be part of that village, which he calls Proto Village, because he thinks he's creating a model village that could be replicated. The model could be replicated anywhere else. So he was not just setting up a village, but he's also developing a philosophy of life for um, for his village that could be replicated. So he invited a few families to live in his village, or to make it their own village. So nobody owns anything. It is owned by anybody, and whoever is part of that village. So the produce will be shared among all the participants in that village. He purchased this land in a place called Tekulodu in Ananthapur district. It is very close to Bangalore, around 100 kilometers range. He kind of put up this land to create a model village where see, what are his findings ultimately? He wanted to settle down close to nature. That's what his learnings, right? And he understood that only a community could self-sustain, not a family in isolation. So he encouraged people to be part of that community, and started various ventures. I think his ability to convert this barren land into a nice lush mini forest kind of situation, where he would harvest every drop of water that falls on this 11 acres. Because of his efforts, actually the entire water level in that region has improved. Mind you, Anantapur is one of the most drought-prone areas in entire country. I think it is the second driest district in the entire country. Despite that, he managed to actually within 8 years' time uh, accumulate small and large ponds, and cultivate a lot of a kind of forest kind of thing, where they would be able to grow the stuff that they want, and at the same time they would leave enough for the nature to take its own course as well. So this is one side of the story, but his heart lies in creating a generation of self capable children. So he brought in kids from neighboring villages. He started a small school where he also let his own kids, who were very young at the time, to be part of that school, which he would himself run meticulously, which is based on foundations of self sustainability, learning by practice, and keeping agriculture and permaculture and so many elements of natural living as part of this curriculum. So the school in Proto Village, it started with the ideals of practical learning, staying close to nature, and community service. So they brought in students from villages neighboring to Proto Village. So it is mostly children who did not otherwise have enough to study in good education institutes. They were brought in here with their parents' consent. They would still live here as residential students. They would not be just students of this school, but also the part of the village, the Proto village, and They are treated on par with other children of Kalyan and Shobita. In fact, these kids would call Kalyan father and Shobita mother, and they all live as one family. And it is a very cute bonding that we experience once we visit the school. So they have something called Maya Baja, where they uh, conceptualize, design, and prepare whatever kind of devices they want to work on. So they have welding, mm, carpentry, or any kind of tools that they would require to design the equipments or tools that they want to build. uh, all sorts of facilities available. They have a library, they have um, computer labs, where they would learn, they would enroll to online courses, learn newer things apart from what they learn in the school itself, which is agriculture, um, masonry, house building, whatnot, like constructing anything, designing something, physics, mathematics, English, languages, everything they would learn, but they would learn in a practical way. So in a school, one teacher just follows a curriculum. It's not so here. There is individualized curriculum for each student, and each student is specifically taken care. So the subject matter remains mostly same for all, but the level of learning for each student is dependent on their own capacity to receive, their age, and other elements. So basically, ultimately, everything is individualized. And so typically, a school student would start maybe 5 in the morning, a few hours of community work. They would have their breakfast. They would then sit in their classroom, which is a kind of hut. Maybe this is something I heard in my childhood, that Shantiniketan, that is created by Rabindranath Tagore. In the same way, here these kids sit in a small hut, in a round table way, in a very beautiful environment, and sometimes they sit under trees. So it's not a very strict classroom kind of setting, but it is a more natural, interactive way to learn for the kids. So Kalyan prepared a wholesome learning experience for the kids in the school. So that involves sports, that involves music, that involves education, that involves agriculture, that involves construction, that involves learning regular subjects like mathematics, physics, chemistry, and whatnot, the regular subjects. And children would learn dance, music, cooking, whatnot, like from childhood. A kid would be able to pick up their personal interests, and they would be able to build on them. So ultimately, a wholesome education experience is created for the kids. Yeah, he created a skating ground that children could practice, and the most downtrodden kids of Puttaparthi Sai district now competed at national level in skating board competitions, and some of them won accolades at national level, some at the state level. And that is the kind of commitment he has for his kids. And apart from it, through various associations, many wise people and noble people of the society come and visit the ProtoVillage, and they get engaged with the kids here. Recently, when we visited, um, uh, you know, various artists, dancers, musicians, and so many kinds of people of international standards visited the Proto Village, and they were interacting with the kids. So it's like, I mean, even in an international school where lakhs of rupees would be charged, I don't think they would be providing similar kind of learning. So yeah, I mean, last week they conducted something called Shanti Samsara, where Ricky Cage, a two-time Grammy awardee and a world-class musician, came with his band and conducted a great program, and another dance company. Well, I mean, why would all these great people come there? Because all this is because they saw purity in the idea of Proto Village. They believe what Kalyan has been doing is needed for the society, and yeah, I think it is extraordinary experience for people who visited Proto Village, especially during this Shanti Samsara time, when they conducted their annual program. We feel very fortunate to have spent such a great quality time with Kalyan, Shobita, and all the participants of the Proto Village, apart from Ricky Cage and all the luminaries that attended the program. Yeah, I would definitely suggest all of you pay a visit to Proto Village, particularly meet Kalyan and be part of his grand vision. He is ultimately creating a prototype of a self-sustaining village. By the way, his village idea contains education, agriculture, healthcare, trade, transportation, whatnot, like everything that basically we think of, like good water, clean air, basically all the amenities of life. So in fact, he enumerated 9 of those pillars for a sustainable community during his Shanti Samsara speech. And he is actually building up a great community here. I truly request all of you to pay a visit to Proto Village near to Bangalore. All the best. Bye.